Hello everyone, welcome to Math Lessons with L. Today's video, we're going to be going over dividing fractions. Now, some of my previous videos, we went over adding fractions, subtracting fractions, and multiplying fractions. Now here's for the division. So let's look at an example. Let's do 2/7 divided by 5/8. Okay, so we have 2/7 divided by 5/8. Now, to dispel the basic thinking that some may have, we're definitely not going to just divide across 2 divided by 5, 7 divided by 8. We're not going to do anything special neither. Cross multiply, the numerator, denominator, nothing of the sort. So there's two key steps that we have to keep in mind before we could begin to find any answer when dividing fractions. Here's the first step. So we have 2/7 divided by 5/8. Okay, first what we want to do is we're going to change the operation sign. So we still keep 2/7, but we're going to change the operation sign from division to multiplication. Okay, both fractions stay the same for now. Okay, our next step, so this will be step 1. This will be step 2. Next step is to keep the fraction, keep the new operation sign, but we're going to flip this fraction. And here's what I mean. So we have 2/7 times no longer 5/8. When we flip the fraction, we have 8/5. So when we flip, or in other words, get the reciprocal, then we're ready to find the answer. Okay, and we can just straight, can we reduce anything? No, so we'll just multiply regularly. So we have 16/35. Okay, so that will be our final answer. No reduction here. Can't be simplified any further. Okay, and that's pretty much it. Okay, so if you followed my previous video on multiplying fractions, you'll know there's ways that we can just simplify a fraction before we simplify fractions or fraction before we start to multiply them, or we just could straight multiply from left to right, numerator from left to right, denominator. Okay, here's another example of division. So remember, when dividing fractions, you want to change the sign to multiplication. Then we're going to get the reciprocal of the fraction that we're multiplying, or flip the fraction. Here's another example. We have, let's see, 8/15 times, we're doing division. So we're going to do, let's do 6/20. So we have 8/15 divided by 6/20. Now, we can tackle this problem in many ways. Okay, we can just go ahead and start to break down into our levels and steps, changing the sign first, and then changing the fraction, getting the reciprocal. Or we could reduce this fraction first, simplify it to its lowest term, and then we can proceed to the process of changing the sign and then flipping the fraction. But we're going to keep everything as is, and we're going to go over the process first. So we have 8 over 15 divided by 6 over 20. Now let's move this up a little further so we can show our steps. 8 over 15 divided by 6 over 20. Okay, so there we go. So we're going to keep this fraction the same. Change the division sign to a multiplication sign. Okay. Remember, layers. We don't have to do everything in one shot. If you have your layers, it makes everything clearer for you to see the steps, step by step, to make sure you don't miss anything. So like this is step 1, change the sign. Step 2, get the reciprocal, flip the fraction. We keep this one, keep the multiplication sign now, but we're going to flip 6 over 20, and the reciprocal is 20 over 6. Now, these numbers are pretty big, so let's simplify. Okay, let's start with the 8. Okay, we have 8 and 6, both divisible by 2, so we can make this 4, we can make this 3. Okay. Now we have 15 and 20, both divisible by 5. We can make this 3. We can make this 4. We can go ahead and multiply now. 4 times 4, 16. 3 times 3 is 9. So we have 16 over 9. Now, if the teacher specifies your answer in a particular way, they don't want an improper fraction, maybe they want a mixed number. Well, our mixed number would be, you keep this denominator of 9. We would say 9 times 1 plus 7 gives us 16. So our mixed number answer, answer in mixed number form will be 1 7/9. Okay, and just to check that the answer will come out the same if we didn't simplify the fractions. Let's erase this part. Let's remember our answers. Okay, so we'll write them up here. Or 1 7/9. Okay, so we're going to write this over. Change the sign for time's sake. We're going to do step 2 now as well. Get the reciprocal. We're going to multiply. 8 times 20, that's 160. And 15 times 6 is 90. Okay. Now we can simplify this. They're both divisible by 10, so we can cross these zeros out. They'll cancel out and give us the same answer. 16 over 9, or if you want the mixed number form, 1 7/9. Okay, so remember, when dividing fractions, you're always going to have to keep in mind how to multiply fractions. Okay, so the first 2 steps, what we want to do is we want to change our sign from division to multiplication. Then we want to change our second fraction here, and we're going to flip it or get the reciprocal. Okay, for those, reciprocal. I believe I spelled that correctly. If I didn't spell that correctly, please leave in the comments. Let me know. I'll double check as well. But we're going to get the reciprocal or flip the fraction. Then we can go simplify as we see fit. Multiply, numerator, numerator, denominator, denominator, and get our answer. And remember, always to check how the teacher or professor wants you to display your answer. Answer form could be simplest form. It could be improper fraction. It can be mixed number. It could even be as a decimal. Okay, and we'll get into that in later videos, how to convert fractions into decimals. Okay, so just make sure that you know what the task is. We have our steps. We can always get the answer. Thank you for joining my video today. I look forward to seeing you guys again. Until next time, have a good one.